Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Sekani, a podcast for people in their 20s who are trying to figure out life and not get lost along the way. Today's conversation is going to challenge a lot of what you think about success or what you think about success, leadership, and being nice. I'm joined by Danny Goldberg, a serial entrepreneur, executive leader, and author of A Little Bit of Asshole with over 16 years of experience building businesses and leading large-scale training programs. Danny brings a bold perspective that success isn't about being agreeable. It's about having edge, setting boundaries, and making decisive moves without losing your integrity. Danny, welcome to Conversations with Sekani. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Scotty.
All right, so yeah, I'm looking forward to our conversation because your perspective is a bit bold. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
All right, so yeah, heads up, we're gonna be diving a little bit into your 20s, right? So take us back to your 20s. What kind of mindset did you have around success, money, and building something of your own?
My dad worked at Raytheon slash Texas Instruments for 43 years until he retired. I was taught go work for the man, go work in corporate America, and you'll be successful. And that's what I did. I worked at Arthur Andersen. I went to another small firm, and there was a couple different firms, and I just couldn't. I was successful. There's no doubt about it, but I walked into I don't know, it was a Chick-fil-A one day, and on a Wednesday afternoon at like 11 a.m. And there's people all around me, on their computers, having coffee. I mean, on the middle of the week. And I'm thinking to myself, how do I do this? This is what I want. I want to be able to have that ultimate flexibility. And so a few years after that, I was able to have the opportunity to start my business. And, it's kind of taken off from there. And I have that flexibility. People say all the time, it's all about money. And I tell them it has nothing to do with money. It's all about flexibility. It's all about time.
All right, it's all about time. Okay, so I'm moved to ask you this one, right? Were you naturally assertive back then, or were you someone who struggled with people pleasing early on?
So I was taught, I've actually done some soul searching on this, where this all came from, because my, I think my mom taught me basically to be the nice guy and people will like you. I never got my name on the board, never got in trouble with my teachers or anything. And that was through really close to the end of high school. And I don't know if it was just going to college and formulating kind of my own identity, but I started to, I mean, again, I was always nice, but I started to have a little bit more of an edge to me. I changed the way I look. I changed my name from Daniel to Danny. I went by Daniel until I was 18. And I just started to, I guess, formulate my own personality. Now, to this day, still struggle with being too nice. I have a lot of people in my life that have the potential to take advantage of me. And what I've learned is I like helping people. I like to be there for somebody, but I don't want to be taken advantage of. And that's why I came out with the book, because every time I talk to someone about this, and I wrote an article on a similar topic probably about 12 years ago on the don't be a yes man. A yes man is one of those people that says yes to everything without really understanding the ramifications of those. So after that article, I started to, almost look inward a lot of times and ask myself, this is me. I'm writing articles on something that this used to be me. So what I started doing is really doing a lot of research and starting to put this book together, because there's so many people out there, Sakani, that are like this. I mean, so I would say, I don't know if you would agree with this. I would say the majority of people tend to just want to be liked. And what I've learned is like doesn't get you respect. Like actually gets you disrespected a lot of times. And so people have to realize that you have a little bit of edge to you. And not that I'm capable of anything. I don't want to, that sounds horrible, but I just, like with my kids, for example, I'm very nice to them. I'm very forgiving. My son is texting me right now. Um, but my kids also know my boundaries, and I've started to do much better with putting those boundaries up and saying, no, this is not negotiable. This is the way it is. If you don't like it, then don't do it at all. And that's, I think, helped me a lot with the relationship with my son, quite frankly. Our relationship has grown because I put up those boundaries and really forced him to mature.
Okay, so I have a whole lot of questions, right?
When
They keep coming up in my head, but I'm gonna just take you one at a time. All right, so talking about being too nice, do you feel like it holds people back? Like, do you feel being too nice held you back early in your career?
100% it did. And take that a step further. It's not only held me back, it didn't
Mm,
allow me to grow as a person because
mm,
to a certain extent, you lose your identity when you're pleasing other people instead of trying to please yourself. And so I would definitely say that, at an early age, I started to realize that, yeah, again, being liked is great, but I think I'd rather have people respect me. I would think I would rather have people
mm,
that I can be honest with and transparent with versus always placating to them.
mm. All right. Okay. So, now we're gonna do like a deep dive into what you do now. So you talk a lot about strategic assertiveness. What does that actually look like in real life?
Strategic assertiveness is the best way to say it is Sekani, it's almost a little bit of an aura about you. That people are fix the camera. People know that I'm willing to do what it takes. I'm willing to help you, but don't abuse it. Understand your boundaries. And so, yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it. Is that strategic assertiveness is I will help you, but if there's something that is just over the top, my answer is going to be I can't do that right now. But here's what we can do. It's the goal isn't to burn bridges. The goal is to gain bridges of respect.
That's one. Okay, thank you so much for that one. Right, and now I want us to talk about your book. In your book, your title is a bit funny, just to say, right? So
Yeah,
in your
it's a
book,
little bit obnoxious to say the least. But I had to try to get people's attention, and
mm,
just saying, hey, yeah, don't be nice, be respected. It's not going to work. I want people to understand, and everybody's told me they love the title. They think it's eye-catching. Um, I want people to understand that, hey, it's okay to be a little bit of an asshole. Not all the time, but you have that edge to you that you're capable of being that way. And that's, I think, again, healthy because if you're not and people think they can get away with anything with you, they're going to. I truly believe that most people will take advantage of you if they can. And I think that's human nature. Humans are selfish. They're going to do things to make them happy. And if I don't put up my boundaries, I'm going to continue to allow that.
right. Okay, a little bit of asshole, right? So you challenge traditional leadership advice. What is one piece of advice you think is completely broken?
One piece of advice that's completely broken, you said?
Yes.
I think it's the theory of being nice. Is
Mm,
again, I was taught at a very young age. I grew up with three brothers, and I was the nicest one out of all of them. I never got in trouble at school. I get picked on sometimes? I did, and I learned to and I learned to just to walk away. And um, being nice didn't get me anywhere. Being nice didn't get me my girlfriend. Being nice didn't get me straight A's. It was nice. People knew that I was a nice guy, but again, it wasn't enough. And so I would say the being nice is going to get you far in life. Is no being respected is going to get you far in life. You can be a nice person and still not be walked on.
mm. Okay, so back to real life, right? I know what you're saying is real, but I'm trying to think about it. Let's say for because your situation now, you were always trained right from childhood to be a nice guy. So assertive or different from just being a nice guy to turning overnight. So, how can someone now start setting boundaries, especially in probably relationships or businesses, without coming off as too aggressive or difficult?
Connie, and again, I want to reiterate to everybody, I still struggle with this day, especially with some of the women I've dated. Honestly, I don't want to say I'm a pushover, but I like to make people happy. But I've also learned, and this is the advice I would give anybody, is can you live with your decision? Do you feel guilty when you make this decision? Um, and if you do, then you need to say something. You can't allow someone to continue to walk all over you. So put your boundaries up, stick to those boundaries, and simple boundaries too. It's simple boundaries. It's maybe challenge yourself today. I'm going to say no to somebody today. I'm going to say no, I cannot do that. And once that happens, you're going to start understanding that it doesn't make you feel bad to say no. In fact, it empowers you and it enables you to really formulate your own identity. And in my main business on training, I've got a friend of mine who's in the same business, and she's fantastic. And she talked like when someone says something that's incorrect, she'll say, "Oh, that's a good perspective." When someone says something incorrect to me, I'll say, "Let me give you a different perspective." And I have no problem telling them, "You're wrong. This is not correct, and here's why." Because and you know what's kind of I think people struggle with. Excuse me. People
Bless
say
you.
they want the truth. Thank you.
Mm,
But I don't think they do want the truth a lot of times. I think they want to, people like their echo chambers and want to hear, and agree with what they think, and have people around them to agree with them. And I am a big proponent of tactfully direct communication. Is I should be able to tell you anything. Now, if you choose to be offended, that's your choice.
mm,
But what I said is not offensive, period. And so that's where I would tell people is put up your boundaries, take little incremental steps every day to continue to get better and feel comfortable saying no. Simple as
mm,
that. And to a certain extent, at that point, you probably need to walk away too, because I do this as well. I'll say no at first, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'll give in. It's like, no, you
mm,
can't do that because you're going to lose your own identity.
mm. Okay. All right. Be comfortable saying no. All right. So I just felt like saying this one thing because I feel like I resonate a whole lot with what you just said. When I was much more younger, oh, my light just went out. When I was much more younger, I used to be the nice girl. I mean, everybody liked me. Everybody. Even when I come out to the streets, everyone likes me because I was just so calm and gentle and nice. If you tell me, give me this, I was going to give you everything you asked me for. But I noticed one thing. I was living life according to how they wanted it to be for me, not
Yes.
what I wanted for myself. I lived exactly how they pictured it in their head. So I wasn't living my life, I was living their life.
Yes.
I was living their perspective of my life. So, yes, till I grew and I saw that I wanted more for myself. And I decided to, choose myself, do things that makes me happy. And now I'm not seen as the nice girl I used to be anymore. But now I can see there's respect, right? So, like you said, there's a bit of respect, but not nice. Nice is not the word they would use for me anymore.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's funny because one of my clients, as soon as he heard the title of the book, he said, "Oh, that fits you perfect." Right off the bat, he's like, "That describes you to a T." It's, I'm glad you had that kind of epiphany to change because what you said is just so important. You were living someone else's life. You weren't living who you wanted to be, and you've got to have boundaries, and you have to feel comfortable saying no and realize when people are taking advantage of you. I've been told that before. They're like, she's taking advantage of you. And I'm like, well, is she taking advantage of me if I know she is and I allow it versus, someone taking advantage of you without you really fully understanding. If I allow it, that's on me, not her.
exactly. All right. So yes, I feel like I've learned so much already, honestly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to talk about your business, right? So you built multiple ventures like Me and Crown Clothes. So how do you approach building differently in a saturated market?
So it's interesting because these are both somewhat new ventures. And my main company, Gold SRD, is very healthy. We do great, but it's
Mm,
also afforded me the flexibility and the opportunity to really capture my creative side a little bit. And these are ideas that have just kind of popped into my head over the last few years. And the app is in development. It's very much focused on um, non-physical beauty. What I mean by that is there are no pictures at first. It's focused on getting to know someone, finding someone you have common traits with, and then developing that chemistry versus, with Tinder, that's all it is all about physicality. And people right away, when they hear this, say, well, this is for ugly people. I said, no, it's not. And everybody tells me the same thing. It's like, it's not for ugly people. It's for beautiful women and for
mm,
anybody who is sick of getting um, uh, just viewed as a physical thing. They want
mm,
something deeper because I think most humans want something deeper, not something on just face value. And the crown cloth is there is no product out there like it. So, you said saturated. There's nothing out there like it. So we're very confident that it's going to fill a need. It's basically a functional or yeah, it's a functional pocket square. Pocket squares are there for design. This is actually has some functionality to it where you can actually use it. And so we're hopefully going to have it live on the market here in the next 2 months, which I'm really excited about.
all right. It's funny how I'm also excited about it, right? Crown Claude.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
well,
so
I'll describe it a little bit more for you too. It's as simple here. I'll show you one.
okay.
It's as simple as a pocket square, but it has a microfiber towel on the back. So you use it as you would normally, but you can use it. And again, I don't know where you're based. I'm in Dallas, Texas, okay? And it's hot here all the time. So, I might wipe the forehead because I'm follically challenged. And most people have told me that, they love the idea and they love the concept. And like I said, there's nothing out there like it.
Wow. Okay. I think I love the concept also. I like the layers, right? There's the layer that just works for your skin, and then the other layer is just aesthetically pleasing. I think I
Exactly.
like the concept.
Well, and the girl I was dating at the time, she said, "Dude, you got to stop," because I would walk around with a little cloth with me to wipe my face, and she's like, "It's
Oh.
gross." And I'm like, "You're right." And then she said, "Use a pocket square." I'm like, "It doesn't absorb. The silk doesn't absorb." So this kind of had an epiphany. When I was in New Jersey one day, I was like, "Oh my God, that's a great idea." And I was talking to a guy at the counter, and I told him it. He goes, "Dude, I would buy that right away." I'm like, "Okay, well now we might have something, so we'll see."
All right. Okay. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it actually. Crown
Mhm.
Claws. All right. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. Actually, I liked the fact that we talked about different perspective to how people see us, whether it's being nice or being respected, right? And what is more important is that we choose ourselves every day, not to be selfish, but always make sure whatever decision you're making is not to your detriment, it's actually to your benefits. So, yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Danny. And this brings me to the final segment of my podcast. It's called the rapid fire segment.
Okay,
All right. Okay. This first one, I feel like I know it already. Nice or respected?
respect it always.
Oh, it's all right. Risk or comfort?
Um, I have always, I'm in risk management. I've always been somewhat risk averse, and the older I get, it's all risk. Let me rephrase, calculated risk.
Calculate. Oh, exactly. Calculated risk. Okay. Boundaries or opportunities?
Ooh, that's a tough one, honestly, because I'm very pro boundaries, but I'm very big on opportunities, and I don't let being an asshole hurt my relationships, if that makes sense. So
Mm.
I'm definitely open to other opportunities. And again, I think most people tend to respect that.
Exactly. Okay. It's funny because you could get opportunities and still maintain boundaries. So I feel like
Exactly.
you don't have to pick one, right? They work hand in hand. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So, all right. What is one word for leadership?
Um, I'm going to give you two words. I'm going to say emotional intelligence. And let me
Oh,
explain because I think it actually fits into this book very well. because emotional intelligence is all about understanding yourself, what drives you, your pet peeves, etc. And more importantly, understanding your people and understanding them at a deeper level. Emotional intelligence is extremely important just from a leadership standpoint. But I think it fits here because if I'm emotionally intelligent, I'm going to understand if someone is taking advantage of me. I'm going to be able to understand and counter that, with boundaries. If I don't have good emotional intelligence, I'm probably going to let it go. So I would focus on, again, I think it loops right back to emotional intelligence.
All right. Okay. And finally, one habit that builds confidence.
I'm going to say saying no. Simple as
Hmm.
that. Building your confidence and just saying no. And it's something I've been big on, Sekani, this year specifically is, every day I have a great life. I get to walk my dogs for, an hour and a half every morning. I go to the gym and then I start my day about 10 or 11 in most cases. It's an amazing lifestyle. And every day while I'm walking, even though I'm tired and I don't want to do it, I think to myself, man, I am so blessed. I'm so lucky to have this life. And so I just general gratitude, I think builds confidence as well because you realize how good you have it and how good it could be.
Hmm. All right. Wow. Okay. So yes, thank you so much, Danny. I
Sure.
feel like this conversation has been amazing.
Thank you.
Although it challenged how I think about leadership and boundaries, and at the same time, I actually do understand your perspective, and I think it's the right one. Actually, it's better to be respected than to be nice. All
Thank
right. So where can listeners get to know more about your book and you, basically? Where can listeners get to reach out to you?
You can go to any of our websites, Gold, S is in Sam, R is in Ricky, D is in David.com. That's our main company. You can go to Danny M. Goldberg. I've got a lot of information out there too. You can order the book directly from me in the US. Outside of it, probably best to go through Amazon. Just put in my name and you'll see some other books I've written, but obviously this one as well.
Okay, all right. And yeah, I'm looking forward to crown clothes, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you. I
So,
appreciate that.
all right. So maybe whenever you start, producing or start distributing, I would love to, know about it so I could see how I could get some for myself, probably here in Africa, actually.
I will put you on the mailing list.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much, Danny. This has been amazing. And to my listeners, thanks for tuning in to Conversations with Sekani. If this episode sparked something in you, just as it did in me, make sure to share to someone who you think might need this and also subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes. Thank you, Danny. Do have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day. All
You too.
right.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye bye.